We're almost to the Singularity. Demichev believes the TMD you carry can be used to contain it. But he's wrong. How could Demichev possibly think something like that could be controlled?
Hey guys, it's Codex947 and welcome back to more Let's Play Singularity. In the last episode, we recharged the E99 bomb. And in this episode, we have reached the Singularity. So let's finally stop this whole thing and set it all back the way it's supposed to be. Anyway, starting off here, we immediately get transported way back in time to the whenever this originally happened. I forget, it was like the 50s or something. It didn't pop up saying this time, so I'm not sure. But if we look at Borisov, we'll see that he's in his old lab coat and everything like that. So it's kind of cool that they brought him back as being a young guy and everything too. But right over here, get some E99 tech, and let's continue following Borisov. So the first thing you should know about the Singularity is that time is super unstable here. Alright, as you saw, those things were able to age back to their original state just by themselves, just because the Singularity's there. So that means that they're just constantly out of phase and everything. And I think that was a recorder back there. Anyway. So right here, I think I go ahead and I increase something. Okay, I increase my inventory, and that's about it. Yeah, there's a recorder right there. Let's see if I even notice it. Nope, don't notice it at all.
What was that? Be careful, Captain. That mutant looks unlike any we've seen. Could time have distorted the creatures even further?
So, looks like we have to fight another one of these guys. And this is actually really cool because you kind of got some stuff going on in the background. We have, don't know if the scientists were killed by this thing, but they have them like constantly like moving and stuff and like being like blown away from that central thing. And then being put back in place, so they're constantly going through the like last few minutes before they died, and that's just kind of gruesome. But it's really cool though. Like, okay, yeah, so that's exploding. I don't know why the heck I attacked that. I thought it was on there. So that explodes, and then they all go back into where they were, which is really kind of gruesome. You're seeing like the echoes of these people, and you know. But I don't think I've ever talked about Chernobyl. Like, I guess people who go to Chernobyl say that there's like echoes of people, like you can still hear like the laughter and stuff. So it kind of makes me wonder if maybe like a similar thing can happen, or if this is like a true thing that like the last few moments of these people's lives can be just like captured with radiation, you know. But anyway, that Echo Zek's dead, or Eco Zek, and now we can continue. Get ourselves some E99 tech. Get ourselves a weapon upgrade. I think I upgrade my weapons a little bit later, and I totally forget like how much I actually have.
This is the audio log of Dr. Nikolai Demichev. I just saw Dr. Borisov's initial test of the TMD. A fascinating device that alters an object's time state. I never would have thought it possible, but it worked. A testament to Borisov's genius. This device could have some very interesting applications.
So once again, Demichev is an evil bastard. But it's very, I don't know, it's interesting. I wish that there had been more character development, because really all we get is that Demichev's an evil guy and Borisov's the good guy. But I don't know. Open this and go through. So once again, as I said, time is super unstable here, as we can see by the fact that those things immediately aged.
Watch yourself, Captain. The time shifts are having serious effects as well.
Gotta go ahead and shrink all of these. But now this bothers me, okay? So go ahead, we shrink them. And I even go ahead and I shrink these guys here too. And I'm like, alright, now there's a path all the way through. Perfect. Come on, Reznov. I almost called him Reznov again. Come on, Borisov, let's do this. And I go ahead and I get to this door, and I'm like, alright, and it's not opening? Why isn't it opening? And I'm like, oh no. No, 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 Barisov, are you stuck? Is something wrong here? And then I realize they have to actually H these back too. Which is dumb, but now we'll move.
We must be getting closer to the epicenter. Time itself is becoming
Yep.
unhinged.
That is true, Barisov. Hit the nail right on the head, as I've been saying. And I'm waiting for him to open up the door, but no. Scripted. Alright.
Time grows short. We'll have to split up. I'll stay here and prepare the equipment while you go. I've been working on an augmentation to the TMD that will allow you to create a time rift using the Singularity. Then you will need to travel back to 1955 and correct the timeline.
Alright.
Go now, Captain.
Well,
Find
for...
the old lab. There is an enhancement for the TMD I was working on inside.
Alright, we got that. But anyway.
This is the audio log of Dr. Beresov. Katorga 12 is quite an incredible facility. I can't wait to get started on my research with E99. But even more interesting is that I get a chance to work with Dr. Demichev. His theories in quantum physics were groundbreaking. I'm sure together he and I will accomplish great things.
Alright. So, let's do this thing. This E99 upgrade that we're going to get for our TMD is amazing, to say the least. It's a really cool upgrade that they did with this, and I'm glad that they did this just because of how much fun you're gonna have with it. You guys just wait and see. But we're getting really close to the end. It's getting
The TMD worked. It was able to change the time state of an item. I'm glad Dr. Demichev was there to see it.
I don't know why I'm quiet. You can barely hear it, and he's just reiterating what we already know, is that Demichev and him experienced it together, and that Demichev immediately wanted to use it for human experimentation. So, once again, Demichev bad guy, Barisov good guy, is kind of what they're just trying to jam down your throats here. But, yeah, so right here, I go ahead and I finally decide to upgrade my weapons, and I'm like, oh, I don't think I've done that in a while, let me just see, and I have 14 weapon tech. So I'm like, alright, I guess I'll just upgrade all of this. I got an achievement for it. I don't know if that's just for the autocannon or if that's for like all of it. But I do same thing again. Completely upgrade the sniper rifle. And as you can see, the autocannon now has a ridiculous amount of ammo in it. Alright, let's get started. And I'm like, wait a minute, are these guys not hostile? What's going on here? And then they hear me and they're like, oh god, there's a guy. And yeah, so these are the old Russian soldiers. These are not Demichev's men. So these guys are just like completely unstuck in time to the point where they've died, but they haven't died. So, very interesting. And I really wish that I knew what theory of time, I guess philosophically speaking, what theory of time this game adheres to. If it's that they're a fixed point in time and that time moves around them, or if they move through time and that's there, then that time's fixed, but that they move through time. Yeah, that made sense, right? Anyway, we get another teleportation into the past, where all we have to do is mow down these guys. I'm glad that it's in slow motion, because it's kind of cool. I mean, slow motion's been done to death in video games, but I'm sure in about 10 years we'll see another emergence of bullet time being the thing, being the number one thing to do. But yeah, so anyway, because if you've ever taken any philosophy class, like Philosophy 101, where they just kind of broad stroke cover all of it, there are two theories of time, and I think I talked about this in a much earlier episode. But if you've ever read the book Slaughterhouse-5, the main character in that, Billy Pilgrim, as he says, becomes unstuck in time. And let's just listen to this audio recording before I finish.
This is the audio log of Dr. Verisov. I get the feeling Dr. Demichev is not finished trying to get the TMD from me, so I've hidden it in the E99 cavern beneath our lab. The radiation from the mineral deposits should hide the energy signature of the device. Whatever happens, I cannot let Demichev get his hands on my work.
Okay, so anyway, back to what I was saying. So Billy Pilgrim becomes quote unquote unstuck in time, sometime during World War II, I think it was, and so he is constantly pinging back and forth between different points. Like he's experienced his birth hundreds of times, he's experienced his death hundreds of times. He's seen himself getting married, he's seen his children, and then he's been back to being an old man and stuff. And it pings back and forth through the whole book. And then he, at some point, becomes part of a zoo for a race of aliens. Yes. And he finds out that they experience time different than how even he experiences time, in which they see it in a constant flow. And so they don't mourn people who die or anything like that. They because they're like, yeah, he's dead now, but at one point he wasn't, because time is just this constant thing for them. They don't perceive it as a bad thing, because they're like, well, we can see when he was alive, and just because at this current point in time means he's dead isn't a bad thing if he's alive in a point that we can see him. So, trying to imagine how that must look, though, like when you can literally see just like the constant state of everything. I imagine it's kind of like in Donnie Darko, where there's like a thing coming out of their chest that's like directing them to where it is that they have to go. But anyway, right here we have a bunch of Zeks to fight, but I don't know, now that we have a super upgraded autocannon and we know how to take care of them, it's really not that much of a threat, you know? So, obviously the Zek, by the way, were totally fighting the Russian soldiers at one point. Right there, you probably saw. Also right here, Zek fighting Russian soldiers. And, yeah. So, if you haven't seen Donnie Darko, and if you haven't read Slaughterhouse 5, I highly recommend them, because they both deal with time and stuff. Well, Donnie Darko deals more with like an alternate reality, like branching off part of time. And yeah, I'm not going to talk about it. Donnie Darko is one of those movies that you need to watch for yourself. It's really good. You need to watch it several times before you kind of get an idea as to what's happening. So we can see that stuff's just being pulled off and towards the Singularity. But let's go ahead and here, and there's a flashback.
It works! The time manipulation device works! We did it! Congratulations, Dr. Bersov. Incredible. I never would have thought it possible. Thank you, Dr. Demichev. Hopefully the TMD can be used to help the world.
And then Demichev's like, what if we use it for human experimentation? Anyway. There's a bunch of ammo here, E99 tech, so we might want to grab that.
This is the audio log of Dr. Beresov. That does it. I found out today that Demichev plans on storming into my lab and taking the TMD by force. I've warned all of my colleagues to not comply with his demands. I can't even begin to imagine what twisted experiments he'd use the TMD for.
So, once again, just pounding in the fact that Demichev's a bad guy, Beresov's a good guy. I don't know, you know. But anyway, let's go in here and let's get that that TMD upgrade that Beresov was talking about. And now we no longer have to worry about using the E99 refill things. Oh my god. This is the best part of the game, is when you have the superpowered TMD. And it seems like ultra refined E99 is just like super, is just blue. Right. Now we have the super impulse, which can take care of those guys really quickly, as you just saw. But, I don't know. So now we get to see, like, okay, I can age these guys and take nothing off, and It's just really cool. But it seems like, what I was saying is, super refined E99 is actually blue in color as opposed to, any other color, I guess. As opposed to the red that it was before. Oh, I didn't know that those guys were... Oh, you know what? That wasn't a part that was cut out where it talked about the Uber soldiers. That part that I missed because I didn't realize I wasn't recording. Forever lost, but they talk about them and they're immune to the TMD's effects, but because I haven't really used the TMD in this game, it's just, you know, it was just there. So, oh well. And of course, but now we have, now we don't have to worry about them hitting us, because now we can just take them out. And of course, that's the only other instance of phase 6 that we'll have. Oh yeah, there's also a revert. And more phase 6. But I just love this because now I feel like they were like, see, now you don't have to worry about these guys anymore. They can't hurt you. Nothing can hurt you now. Oh man, it's like the slow choke meme. Like, no struggles. Also, by the way, if you, I don't know if I said that, but if you age them, they blow up eventually. They like rush towards the nearest enemy and just explode. But yeah, so the slow choke meme, where it's like they did like the poke combiner or whatever, and they went into the, it's called slow choke, and so someone was just like, no, don't struggle, only dreams now. It's like, I don't know why that reminded me of it, but it did. And so we get to see that somehow reverts are super effective against us, but when they attack a Russian soldier, it takes 3 hits. I don't get it. Also, as I think I've stated before, I don't like how they've since made reverts just like, yeah, you know, they're normal enemies now. They'll just rush at people. I don't like that. I wish they kept them as like the stealthy. Okay, gotta sneak past them because they scare the shit out of people. Enemy, but oh well. Anyway, saving content. Please don't turn off your console.
Hold on, Captain. Let me see if I can open the door for you.
We're almost there, everybody. It's within reach. Let's stop Demichev. Also, get ready to see this about 3 more times, because this is literally all that the rest of the game is you fighting your way up to the Singularity by mowing down Russian soldiers. I feel like I've been super critical of this game. It's still a fun game, like, don't get me wrong. It's a fun game, but it really feels like they were rushed to finish it, you know? Or that they weren't given like full reign of, you know, to do whatever they want to do with it, which is what you need to do with a game. Is that, you know, if the developers have something that they want to do, just do it. Stop, you know, stop fucking with it, publishers. And it bothers me, you know. I don't know. Also, speaking of that, Destiny, which is another dead horse that's been beaten to a pulp and then set on fire, is, so the Blade of Korda, if you guys ever played that, I tweeted this a little while ago, but I think it's an Easter egg, because, okay, so the Blade of Korda is a single-edged sword. Does that make it a Cortana? Bungie, did you do that? Was that a pun? Was that on purpose? I hope it was, because I found it. And I just felt like super proud of myself. So that's all. That's all about that. That's the only thing I'm going to talk about Destiny in this whole Let's Play of. Also, I don't like how they did that. How they, like, teleport you back to the beginning part. Like, I had to use my chrono ping to figure out where I had to go. But anyway, more Russian soldiers. Still a good game. Even though at this point it just evolves into, let's just shoot enemies and make it to the next part. And the exploration part of it is just completely removed. Oh well. Still a great game. Could have been better. And I know I'm beating this. Once again, I'm beating this horse until it's pulp, but you really just got to give developers free reign. And you know what? Let them do what they think they should do with it, and you'll have fun. All right. But we're seeing enemies who oh man, Revert. I love this. The Revert was able to take on 3 Zeks, actually 2 Zeks, I guess. But it took out 2 Zeks, and then it was taking on a 3rd one. So Reverts are obviously a lot more dangerous than Zeks. It's very interesting. Freaking Zeks. By the way, that one just went flying. I don't know how that happened. Oh, man. I can't believe it's almost over. I don't think this has been my best Let's Play. I think, I don't think it's been my worst so far, but I definitely think it hasn't been my best. But I'm really excited for the next one, so... Really? So, there's Beresov. Let's do this. Let's end this.
This is it. This is where we set history right again. Use the TNT and the Singularity to open a rift to 1955. Then, destroy the reactor with the E-99 bomb. Once the Singularity is destroyed, the truth of history will be restored. Go on now, Captain. Good luck.
Let's do this. Alright. We know what we have to do. Let's set things right. Let's fix this.
Trip down memory lane, Captain. You look surprised. All that effort to destroy the Singularity when all I had to do was simply rebuild it. Now, give me the TMD.
Don't, Renko. We're missing something, but we can figure it out. We can still set things right.
Only the victors rewrite the history books. And you lost.
Only the victors rewrite the history books. That's it! The Singularity is not the problem. You went back in time and saved Demichev from being killed in the burning building. Remember? He's what you changed, and he's what you have to change back. You cannot let Demichev live.
It won't work. You've already tried that. And failed. Don't you remember who else was there, Captain Renko? That other man was you.
He's right, Captain. You are the anomaly, which means the only way to correct the timeline is for you to stop yourself.
You mean kill himself? You're asking a man to sacrifice himself for something you've been mistaken about. How many times now? I'm not sure you're a reliable authority, Beresov.
Renko, don't listen to him. You can save the world.
So you say. But Captain, think about what you were before all of this. A drone in the hive. I can offer you a whole other life. Things you could only imagine. At your fingertips. Give me the TMD. And help rule the world.
Is this a world you want to be a part of, Renko? Look around you. Look at all the suffering this man has caused.
No visionary leader is without his critics.
Renko, he is not a leader. He's a mass murderer, a dictator. You must stop him at all costs. Use the TMD on the Singularity. Travel back in time and kill yourself.
Well, that certainly sounds like an attractive offer. Or you can prove your loyalty to me by killing Beresov. And I will grant you unlimited power. Make your choice, Captain.